Hi there everyone, Lars here from Camille's Harem. Not just a podcast for novice writers by novice writers, but also a YouTube channel by novice writers for novice writers. Because writing is an adventure, it's more fun with friends, and I have a quick announcement for you today that began with a little video that I made in my backyard. Alright, so I have a crazy idea. A project that I wish to do right behind my little mulberry bush. I am going to take this leftover lumber and wood used from repairing my fence, and I am going to create a gaming table for miniature battles, specifically to make a board, a battlefield, to recreate the battles of the Tower and Narok from the Stormlight Archive. And I have no idea what I am doing. And as you can see, this is going to be absolutely low budget and insane and dirty and messy. And by golly, it's going to be amazing. Now at this point, some of you might be thinking, Lars, what the heck are you doing? You just said you don't know how to do little mini war games. And furthermore, don't you already have so much on your plate? And the answer to both of that is yes. Oh my gosh, why am I doing this? Well, I'll tell you the reason why. Number one, I have wanted to do a video on the Battle of the Tower from the first Stormlight Archive book, The Way of Kings, for years now. This is one of the OG video ideas that I have wanted to dig into now for so freaking long. However, in order to make it really work, I need more than just simply some stolen footage and some pictures and then talking head animated Lars to really make it work out. And on top of that, actually going through and doing the animations, especially for someone like me and I don't know the animation style, that means it gets pretty expensive because I have to then go and hire other people to do it. But what if instead I brought you the Battle of the Tower from the Way of Kings in a completely different style than anyone else has yet done? And on top of that, to my knowledge, someone please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, I have not seen anyone do any real big mini battles for the Stormlight Archive. I could be the first! Huzzah! Then Brandon Sanderson senpai will finally notice me! My second reason for doing this is that as I've been reading my way through the book Wind and Truth, my biggest disappointment in the story has been the Battle of Narok, where it is huge. It is honestly one of the coolest sounding battles, where you have all of these different orders of magical warriors and then some regular warriors kind of caught in between, unfortunately, having this huge massive battle over 3 plateaus, and who will claim the Oathgate and possibly then invade the city of Aritharu. It is on its face really awesome, but unfortunately the way that Brandon Sanderson wrote the book, and I'll get more into this when I finally do my review of the book in its entirety, unfortunately there's a lot lacking in this particular battle. Again, premise is awesome, the execution, no, not so much. And I would love to show the Battle of Narok done in miniature. Again, it would be really cool to do a full-on animation, but because we're actually lacking a lot of information, it'd be hard to fully replicate the battle. So instead, I intend to gather a bunch of Stormlight Archive fans together to create the Battle of Narok in its entirety in miniature form. Woohoo! This will be fun. And the third reason is that I have a story that I've really wanted to tell for a little while. For those of you who've been keeping up with our live streams, you'll recognize this when I say its name. Gear Witch. Gear Witch is a story that I've been gearing up for a while now. I really want to tell this magical story of an inventive witch who can bring all of her creations to life in a world of pike and shot. For those of you who don't know what pike and shot is, this is early modern / Renaissance warfare, where we begin to move away from knights on horseback and huge armies wielding their spears and swords and axes. They will still have this in pike and shot battles, but pike and shot battles revolve more around the use of firearms and massive pikes and halberds and volgs that were used to tear infantry and cavalry to pieces. And then when the lines intermingle, people can then drop their spears, pull out their swords and their axes, and then get really close and heavy and just brutalize each other. Pike and shot's a really cool time period, which is not explored enough, in my opinion, in a lot of fantasy. And where it is, the guns just do incredible things. These guns, these arquebusiers, arquebus guns, which require 30 seconds or 20 seconds at best to load the next shot, are rattling off shots like Gatling guns, like machine guns. And that's just dumb. That's really, really dumb. Why do you need large armies grouped together in tight formations with armor if you just have a couple of guys with guns who can mow everyone down? Now that's kind of dumb. But you see, that's the thing, is that pike and shot battles were really intense and had their own unique way of, well, being executed. So here's the thing, is that I want to already write a story set in a kind of time period that is really misunderstood already. And I'll be honest, I myself don't know a ton. I don't know everything about pike and shot warfare, so I want to, and I need to learn more. But on top of that, if I'm going to incorporate magical witches and wranglers, people who are able to basically He-Man or Hulk their way through armies, or add in their written warriors and gate wardens and wraiths, all of whom are magical characters that can just obliterate dozens of regular men. How do those kinds of figures, how do they act on an actual battlefield? And in a way that makes sense. See, the thing is this, is that I can come up with all these amazing things in my head, but I need to properly play them out in order to convey them in a way that feels fun and realistic for that fantasy world, and doesn't entirely break the bank of goodwill, where people might be like, I know something about pike and shot, and then they're like, this isn't pike and shot, what have you given to me? And one of the best ways that I can play that out is by literally playing a game. And so that is why I am going through with this crazy idea. Yes, I'm embarking on something that I really don't know a whole lot about, because I want to do something fun. I want to do something creative. And it's something that I hope will really help out my own writing in the future. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be working on this really ridiculous table. Yes, I know it's going to be super, super wonky by the end. But you know what? We're going to roll with it. Trust me on this. Each week, I am going to upload my progress in terms of the construction, but also of the creation of the different scenarios and the rules for each engagement. And then when the time is right, when the tables are done, and I'm ready to invite people over because the rules have been made, I will then shoot these different games that we will play out, and we'll upload them here onto the internet. I got some inspiration from the channel Little Wars TV, and I highly recommend checking them out. If you are a history nerd, if you're a game nerd, really check it out. It is a lot of fun. It's a great channel and deserves way more views than it currently has. But they inspired me to think a little bit outside of the box of how I approach how I will write my stories, or better yet, how I will prepare to write some of my stories and some of my battles, because I love writing action sequences. It's one of the things I love to do the most in writing. However, I'll be honest, I'm not entirely perfect at it. Sometimes I do things that are just really ridiculous, and I look back later, I'm like, what was I even thinking? And by taking the time, and yes, this will take some time, but by taking the time to properly play out these battles, have some fun with the tactics, with the characters, with the world that I've created, my hope is that when I sit down to actually write these battles, that I will be able to incorporate everything that I've done with the characters and their story, and then everything that I've played out with these battles, to then deliver a really, really awesome and compelling and engaging, entertaining battle of magical shot and pike. So I hope that you will buckle in for this particular write. It's going to be a long one, but it's one that I hope will really pay off. And I'm hoping to learn a lot in the process, and I hope that you do as well. So please make sure that you subscribe to Camille's Harem to receive all the notifications and updates for how this project goes down. And I hope that you will join us for the newest video very soon. And until then, y'all, tschüss.